Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't pause because you're scared, or rewind because you regret something, or slow down because you decided to wake up late for a few years in a row. Life just moves. Quietly, relentlessly, indifferently. And if you're not careful, you look up one day and realize 10 years went by while you were on autopilot. It took me a decade to understand that most of the pain I carried wasn't from what life did to me, but from how long I stayed asleep while it was happening. How long I clung to people who were already gone. How long I argued with reality instead of learning from it. How long I waited for a feeling called ready that never came. If you're listening to this in the morning, this is for you. Not the future version of you who has everything figured out. The current one. The one who is tired, a little disappointed in themselves, but still here. The one who keeps saying, "I'll change tomorrow," and then wakes up in the same loop. The one who knows there's more in them than what they've been living. I want to tell you about a handful of lessons that took me 10 years to really learn. Not to hear. Hearing them is easy. You've seen them in quotes, in posts, in books you never finished. I'm talking about learning them in your bones, the hard way, by losing, failing, and watching yourself repeat the same mistakes until you couldn't stand your own excuses. The first thing I had to accept was that no one was coming to fix my life. Not my parents, not my friends, not a partner, not some future boss, not a lucky break. For a long time, I lived like I was waiting for a rescue. I did just enough to stay afloat, and then I'd fantasize that one opportunity would show up that finally made sense of all the wasted time. But life isn't a movie. There is no dramatic scene where someone knocks on your door and hands you the life you were too scared to build. What actually happens is much quieter. There are small chances, small openings, small windows of time where you could decide differently. And if you're not paying attention, if you're busy scrolling, complaining, or replaying old stories, you miss them. I used to blame the world for that. I'd say, nothing ever happens for me. The truth was, things did happen. I just didn't take them. I wasn't prepared. I wanted life to knock loudly, but it whispered. It always whispers first. So the lesson became simple. I had to stop waiting for a savior and start becoming one for myself. Not in a dramatic, heroic way, in small, boring ways. Getting up when I said I'd get up, doing the work without being watched, learning skills when no one was paying attention, saying no to what made me weaker, yes to what made me stronger, even when it didn't feel good. That shift, accepting full responsibility, hurts at first. It strips you of excuses you've used for years. It forces you to look at all the ways you handed your power to circumstance. But on the other side of that pain is something you can't get any other way. Real control. Maybe not over the world, but over yourself. And that's where everything starts. Another hard lesson was this. The way you start your day is not a detail. It's a direction. For years, my mornings were a mess. I'd wake up late, grab my phone, lay in bed scrolling through other people's lives while silently hating my own. Before my feet even touched the floor, my mind was already exhausted. I had compared myself, fueled my anxiety, and flooded my brain with noise. Then I'd tell myself, I'll get it together later. Later never came. It took me far too long to realize that the first hour is not about productivity. It's about identity. When you roll over and hand your attention to a screen, you're not just losing time. You're telling yourself who's in charge. You're training your mind to be reactive, anxious, scattered. You're starting your day by saying, I am a consumer, not a creator. I respond. I don't initiate. When I finally changed that, it felt like trying to turn a ship in a storm. But little by little, things shifted. Instead of grabbing my phone, I sat up and took a breath. Instead of letting the world tell me what mattered, I asked myself, who do I want to be today? Not, what do I have to do? But who do I intend to be when things go wrong? When I'm tired? When I'm tempted? 10 minutes of stillness, a page in a journal, a walk in silence, a cold shower, a short workout. It didn't look impressive. No one saw it. But it rewired something deep. It turned the morning from a blur into an anchor. It taught my nervous system, I move myself. The world doesn't drag me. You don't need a perfect morning routine. You don't need a 4 a.m. alarm or a list of rituals as long as your arm. You need to own the first move. You need one small decision that says, I respect myself enough not to start my day in surrender. Another lesson that took years to sink in is that discomfort is not the enemy. I treated discomfort like a sign I was doing something wrong. The moment something felt awkward, boring, painful, uncertain, I backed off. I called it not aligned or not meant for me, when really it was just uncomfortable. And so I stayed in the narrow space of what felt easy and wondered why my life didn't expand. Eventually, life did what it always does. It brought pain anyway. Just a different kind. The pain of regret, of stagnation, of watching other people move while I stood in place. That's when it finally clicked. There is no path without pain. There is only the pain you choose. You can choose the pain of discipline or the pain of disappointment. The pain of staying in the gym, or the pain of not recognizing yourself in the mirror. The pain of saying no to temporary pleasures, or the pain of a life that never gets off the ground. When I started leaning into chosen discomfort, small things like finishing a workout when I wanted to quit, having hard conversations I used to avoid, saying no when I wanted to say yes, just to be liked, something changed. My confidence stopped being a theory. It became evidence. Not, I believe I'm strong, but I've seen myself do hard things. That's what Stoic thinking really is at its core. It's not being emotionless. It's understanding that your feelings are not your master. You can feel fear and still move. You can feel doubt and still choose. Courage isn't the absence of discomfort. It's the decision that discomfort will not run your life. It also took me years to grasp this simple, brutal truth. People are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. I wasted an embarrassing amount of time projecting an imaginary audience onto my every move. I'd replay conversations, obsess over how a message sounded, delay posting something because I worried what they would think. The irony is that they were busy worrying what everyone thought about them. Most people are not studying your life. They're trying to survive their own. When I finally internalized this, it was like walking out of a crowded room that only existed in my head. I could breathe. I could make decisions based on my values instead of imaginary judgment. I could try things, fail publicly, and realize that the world didn't stop spinning. The fear of what others think is a cage with invisible bars. You don't realize how small your world has become until you step outside it. When you stop living for approval, your choices change. You stop chasing attention and start chasing alignment. You stop asking, will they like this? And start asking, will I respect myself if I do this? And that leads to another lesson. Self-respect is a quieter feeling than excitement, but it lasts longer. Chasing excitement and validation feels good for a moment, but it fades fast, and it usually leaves you emptier than before. Self-respect, on the other hand, doesn't always feel amazing in the moment. It often feels like saying no when you want to say yes, getting up when you want to sleep, telling the truth when it would be easier to lie. But later, when the noise fades, you're left with something solid. trust in yourself. It took me a long time to stop trading self-respect for short bursts of pleasure, to stop scrolling instead of studying, to stop flirting with people who weren't good for me just to feel wanted, to stop saying yes to things clearly not meant for me only because I was scared of missing out. Every time I chose that, I won for a minute and lost for months. Life gets simpler when you place self-respect on the top shelf. Not easier, simpler. Choices become clearer. Does this strengthen me or weaken me? Does this move me closer to who I want to be or further away? Would the version of me I admire be proud of this? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. The work is in having the spine to do it. Another lesson that quietly reshaped my mind is about solitude. For a long time, I confused being alone with being abandoned. If I wasn't surrounded by noise, people, messages, calls, notifications, I felt something was wrong. Silence made me restless. I ran from it. I filled every gap with distraction. And as a result, I never really met myself. The problem with never being alone is that you stay a stranger to your own mind. You know every influencer, every celebrity, every storyline in your feed. But you don't know your own patterns. You don't know why you react the way you do, why the same situations keep repeating, why certain comments cut so deep. You never stop long enough to listen. Solitude, I learned, is not loneliness. It's a meeting. You and your unfiltered thoughts. You and the parts of you that only speak when the noise is gone. It's uncomfortable at first. Old regrets come up. Fears you've buried for years start talking. You realize how much of your personality was built as armor, not authenticity. But if you can stay there, if you can sit with yourself without reaching for an escape, you gain something rare: self-knowledge. And with that comes power. You start to see the patterns. You recognize your triggers. You understand the story you've been telling yourself about who you are, and you realize you can edit it. No morning routine, no life change, no long-term discipline works if you're constantly running from your own reflection. At some point, you have to stop, sit down, and say, okay, this is me. Flawed, scared, gifted, distracted, stubborn, hopeful. What am I going to do with this? Another lesson that only clicked after many failures is this: your emotions are real, but they are not instructions. For years, I treated how I felt as a command. If I felt tired, it meant, don't do it. If I felt anxious, it meant, avoid it. If I felt unmotivated, it meant, wait until inspiration comes back. I built my entire lifestyle around obeying whatever emotion was loudest. It made sense in the moment. Emotions can be intense. They flood your body. They feel like truth. But they are not always right. They are just data. Fear is data that you care about the outcome. Anger is data that you feel something is unjust. Sadness is data that you've lost something important. They're signals, not orders. The Stoic idea that changed me was the gap between stimulus and response. Something happens. You feel something. In that tiny space between feeling and action, you have a choice. Most of us live so fast and so unconsciously that we skip the gap completely. Event, emotion, reaction, all in one blur. When I started catching that gap, pausing before snapping back, breathing before quitting, questioning my first impulse, my entire life path shifted a few degrees at a time. I still felt everything I used to feel, but I didn't build my life on those first waves anymore. I let them wash over, then I acted from a deeper place. You can feel scared and still sit down to work. You can feel insecure and still show up. You can feel sad and still keep your promises to yourself. The more often you do that, the more your mind learns that your identity is not defined by your mood. You stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" and start asking, Is it aligned with who I'm trying to be? That single shift separates people who slowly build a life they respect from people who drift, forever waiting for the perfect feeling that never stays. And then there's this lesson, the one I wish I could send back in time to my younger self. Small, boring actions done consistently will take you further than rare bursts of intensity. I used to chase intensity, huge goals, extreme plans, sudden transformations. I'd get fired up, change everything at once, and inevitably crash. The cycle was always the same. Big promise, short sprint, burnout, shame, repeat. What I didn't understand was that my brain didn't need more drama. It needed more evidence. Evidence that I could be trusted. Evidence that when I said, "I'll do this," I meant it. Every time I made a massive plan and abandoned it a week later, I wasn't just failing the plan. I was training myself not to believe my own word. The real rewiring started when I embraced smallness. 10 minutes of reading instead of aiming for a book a week. 5 push-ups instead of a full program I'd never stick to. 1 honest paragraph in a journal instead of buying another expensive notebook and letting it collect dust. It felt like nothing. It felt beneath me. But that was ego talking, not wisdom. Those small, boring actions compounded, not just in results, but in identity. Slowly, I stopped being someone who was trying to get their life together and started being someone who did what they said, even in quiet, unimpressive ways. And once you have that foundation, you can build almost anything on top of it. Looking back over 10 years, none of the flashy moments, the big decisions, the dramatic nights, the emotional speeches changed me as much as those quiet repetitions. Waking up, showing up, doing the work, keeping promises. Day after day. Especially on the days that didn't feel inspiring at all. And maybe the deepest lesson hiding under all of this is simple. You will not get a different life if you keep thinking the same way. You can change cities, jobs, partners, routines. You can buy new clothes, start new projects, upgrade your devices. But if your mind stays wired for avoidance, for blame, for fear of judgment, for instant comfort, everything new will slowly decay into the same old pattern. Rewiring your mind is not mystical. It is repetitive. You catch yourself when you slip into victim mode. You question the story that says, "This is just who I am." You notice when you're about to run from discomfort, and you stay a little longer. You treat mornings as the control room of your life, not just the waiting room before the day really starts. You stop waiting for 10 years to pass before you take your inner world seriously. If you're still listening, it means a part of you is tired of your own delay. And that's good. That part is your ally. Don't waste it. When this ends, you'll be left with the same choice countless people have had. Go back to the loop or do one thing differently. Not everything. One thing. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Don't touch your phone for the first 15. Sit up. Breathe. Ask yourself who you want to be today when things go wrong. Write 1 line. Do 1 set. Drink 1 glass of water instead of scrolling. Make 1 decision from self-respect instead of self-pity. Won't look like much from the outside. No one will clap. No one will know. But 10 years from now, you will know. You will see the difference between the days you gave away and the days you claimed. Life isn't going to slow down and wait for us to finally wake up. But right now, in this morning, you are awake enough to hear this. That is already something. Don't let that awareness fade into the background noise of someday. Take these years seriously. Take your mornings seriously. Take yourself seriously. Life will keep moving, with or without your cooperation. But your mind, your habits, your standards, your silence, your discipline, those are still negotiable. Those can still be rewired. 10 years from now, you will either wish you started today or be grateful that you did. You get to choose which version of you looks back.